you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think this is us, Diana. So, good evening. Hopefully this works until the end. We are from Romania, but it doesn't mean a lot right now. I think we are extremely excited to be here with you, and hopefully you're not too tired after all the content that you received these 2 days. Thank you, Ivana, wherever you are, for inviting us. Hey. And I want to thank you especially because we are, even though we've been working in this industry, the communication industry, for quite some time now, we are a very young company. We've been created during this summer, I think, officially. And we came up with quite a unique model for Romania. I don't want to brag about that, but the intention was to bring something new to the table. We were both working in communication in different areas. I was on the agency side, and she was on the client side. And when we met again professionally, I think we had 2 things that we wanted to change. I think we wanted to collaborate more and maybe, have teams with a different approach, a different method. We were quite stuck in all the models and the patterns that we were experiencing both with clients and during our in our own companies. And the other thing we were understanding that advertising became quite linear and very formulaic. So we wanted to bring something new to the table. And the idea is simple. Hopefully this works. Okay. We are the modern incubator, so Wecollab is a modern incubator, but it's basically a creative collective. So we are not an agency, we are not a client, we are not only artists. And what we want to do is really work at and pinpoint the intersection of communication, arts, and business. Why arts and business? So our company really started with an intention that we had and a combined experience. I was working in both advertising and PR all throughout my career, and I also did a lot of projects that were designed only for artists. And at a certain point, unfortunately, I understood that creativity and original ideas were coming for me more from the art world and the arts world than from the agency. And I wanted to, combine the 2 areas. And we are a young company, so this model is still, we are not taking this for granted. We still have to demonstrate that we work. And tonight, because I think it's night, our presentation is not about how you should try this model in your own, company and region, but how this model has already existed for a couple of years now in more developed societies, in the Western and Eastern society. And when I say Eastern, I mean mostly Asia. And how we've already tested this model within a couple of companies a couple of campaigns that were successful on the Romanian market. So what I would like to embark you tonight is a journey, a common journey, and maybe have a fruitful conversation afterwards about how we can explore to do things differently and really opening our world. And I will pass the floor to my colleague Diana. And we'll start with a couple of projects that I am sure you guys know from your popular culture experience, and then we'll go to the Romanian landscape.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Diana. As Roxana said, mostly I've worked on the client part, but I did also some years in agency, in digital agency. Since re-meeting her this year on the professional level, I've started being more attentive on the way big brands are communicating and the way they are using artists, performances in their mixes. So I'll start with Beats by Dre, a brand that right now it's under Apple. What we loved about this brand is not, of course, we love the product. It's not the way they are, let's say, using Kylie Jenner in all their ads, in all their visuals, but it's the way that they used and actually invented influential marketing. So what they did, it's of course a brand that has a very collaborative and creative history. They said, I'm not going to pay for promotion. I'm going to use the artists that are working actually in this, in Interscope. I'm going to use them as a promotional vehicle. So they added, they actually forced them to wear these headsets, and eventually they come up with the plan to have the headphones in all their videos, in all their appearances. If you know, they actually launch it by putting it on the necks of the guys that were going to Beijing Olympics, the basketball team. So basically, they had this huge coverage, unpaid coverage. Artists were saying, what are these? And they were saying, just put them on and put it on your video. And so everybody found out about this product that was meant to revive the headsets in a world that nobody actually was paying a lot of money on this. Next, I don't know if you got to see this campaign. It's from earlier this year. Uniqlo, which is a Japanese cult brand, and Solange, which is Beyoncé's sister, managed...
I think she's a brand on her own now.
She's a brand on her own, but she's also a Beyoncé's sister.
Okay, I'll go with that.
They could have used Beyoncé, but it's not the same. So basically, Solange is this very complex artist. It's really different. Her work is really different from Beyoncé, which is more mainstream, let's say. She's more sophisticated in some ways. She directs her performances. She actually built this sculpture that the performance took place in, along with the artist that really constructed the piece. So basically what they did is to mix worlds of performance, of dance performance, of music performance, of sculpture, in something that became sculpture dance, which is, if you think about it, they invented a new concept, which is expanding our, our communicational vocabulary, if you think about this more.
So I think that was actually something that people expected from a brand like Uniqlo, which is not partnering with any other, I don't know, mainstream singer or artist. And the beautiful campaign really was done in collaboration with Droga 5, and I know you all know Droga 5. So, you know, it's okay.
Next one, we also have a video for this one. It's, let's say, when an agency it's so connected and knows so much about the future intentions of a brand and an artist, they come up with a mix that actually made Bing more popular in America. Bing is like Google. It also has maps and so on, but Google is taking over so much of the internet usage that Bing felt it needed to say we're also here, we're also having maps and so on. Jay-Z was about to launch his book, Decoded. So what Droga 5 did is meet them halfway and say, I'm going to make a cultural moment for your brand while launching the Jay-Z's book. These are some executions. I love this campaign because the executions are not done in the way we think they should. So basically, they put pages of the book in a pool, on plates, on a car, on a bicycle.
They used different mediums that were not
different mediums, meaning
traditional.
It's not a TV spot. It's using things, real life things, real things around you to put the exact content of the book. Let's watch the video, because it's quite a nice case. Can we have sound also?
The young audience.
Thank you.
At the same time, we knew that Jay-Z would soon be launching his autobiography, Decoded. With one big idea, we harnessed this epic moment in pop culture, connected our client to a new demographic, and gave millions a reason to use Bing. We started by putting every page of Jay-Z's book out in the world, every day for a month, prior to the book's release. But the pages weren't just randomly placed. Every page's location was inspired by the story on each page, putting Jay-Z's entire biography in context. Fans could actually walk through Jay-Z's life right where it happened, finding pages in 13 major cities in the US and abroad, searching for everything from huge iconic billboards to unique collectible items. And if the media didn't exist near Jay-Z's life landmarks, we created it, taking the campaign to places money just can't buy. Gucci made custom jackets stitched with a page. A Cadillac wrapped with pages paid homage to the birthplace of New York hip-hop. A page about Big Pimpin' covered the bottom of the Delano pool. Even a bronze plaque was installed in the Marcy Projects, where Jay-Z spent his childhood. We let the story on each page determine each location. The unique pages covered hundreds of thousands of square miles. And as they were unveiled around the world, Bing tied every element of the campaign together with an integrated online game that directed fans to each page on the streets. Clues to the page locations were released daily through Facebook, Twitter, and radio. And every day for a month, millions of people gathered to solve the latest clues, guiding them to the exact street locations on Bing Search and Maps, documenting and claiming the pages they found. The unique framework allowed anyone, anywhere to walk the same streets and find a page. And over the course of the month-long campaign, they chased fame of their own as they assembled the book digitally at bing.com/Jay-Z before the hardcover hit stores. Every single piece of the campaign was woven together with Bing technology to allow fans to experience his story. Average player engagement on our website was over 11 minutes. Jay-Z's Facebook followers grew by 1 million. And Decoded hit the bestsellers list for 19 straight weeks. Decode Jay-Z's success was covered by every major news outlet, every major cultural influencer. Even other celebrities weighed in. Bing became part of the pop culture conversation. And in only 1 month, Bing saw an 11.7% increase in visits, entering the global top 10 most visited sites for the first time, and earning 1.1 billion media impressions.
I want to add something. I think that I definitely think that this campaign had a huge budget, and maybe the most part went to promoting what they actually did in the streets and using these non-traditional mediums. But you can argue that if you have the big budgets, then you have access to all these creative people. But it's not about that. The campaign, I think it says a lot about being open to collaborate with people and understand that somehow artists are more relatable, more part of the culture and subcultures you want to target. And you just have to find an authentic way to, combine their world with your world, your brand world and your objectives, and do something, exciting or meaningful or whatever you want to do. So this can actually happen at whichever level. It don't have to be Solange or Jay-Z or so. That was my point.
I'm just curious if on the Hyatt's pool
And the
it's written
presentation
something.
Presentation does not include only Drogify, but we just further on.
For Under Armour, I don't know if you're very familiar with Under Armour. It's a huge sports apparel in US. If you think about sports apparel in US, you will think about how many artists and sportsmen are advertising these brands. So basically what Under Armour did is take a ballerina and use her to promote something that it's beyond ballet, let's say. So the ad says, "I will what I want. I will what I want." It's a really nice choice of words. So basically, what they did is to use her. Not only as a brand image, but also as a co-creator. So basically, she helps them create the outfits. And also, the fact that she is the first Afro-Negro ballerina that got soloist.
Yeah, so that
She's
was
the main.
Yeah,
right?
that was promoted in the American Ballet Theater.
Yeah.
So yeah.
She is like the main ballerina at an organization that is all about white, being skinny, and she's Afro-American and she's muscular. You'll get to see her in the ad. So basically, she opened up her horizons. She's now also into fashion industries. They went to a sport that is to a artistical sport, right? That is not usually, let's say, familiar to a sports brand, right? So they went in another area, and they got something that it's really, really cool. They are also using more, let's say, familiar faces like Giselle Bündchen.
Yeah.
But basically, they are always speaking about this collaboration. Let's check the video. So yes, it's Giselle Bündchen. And some others I'm not remembering right now, but
Dear
also...
candidate, unfortunately, you have not been accepted. You lack the right feet, turnout, torso length, and bust for ballet. And at 13, you are too old to be considered.
Okay, so for something that it's minimalistic and very innovative, like an Apple product, they've chosen to work with a very progressive and very shy and versatile artistic persona that it's FKA Twigs. I will let you check it's actually a short movie. It's not an ad. It makes no sense if you don't watch it from start to the end. It's a lot of rumor about it that it also contains an Easter egg, so a thing that so a few get to know it. I'll tell you at the end. Basically, what we love about this campaign is the fact that she's sharing her personality with a brand that already has this huge personality, and so they get to have a mix and the performance that brings so much value also to Apple. Let's check.
Excuse excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry.
Hey Siri, play me something I'd like.
Okay.
We stayed up all night watching a comedy show. That age whiskey and hydro. Good Lord, what a nice conversation. I'm too flawed to get anywhere safe.
I don't think I'm gonna let you watch
I
this.
talk about you highly. I'm fascinated.
Just check a bit the dance routine, and then we'll skip to the next one because we still have a lot of things to show you.
All night in Los Angeles. I really thought that I can handle it, but the funny thing is I was holding back tears. I didn't think this day would happen. I gave all this up for a chance at it. You would have thought I'd be the man for this, but the funny thing is we can never say it. I didn't think this day would happen.
Thank you. I invite you all to check this video online. I'm sure you'll find it. It's Apple and FKA tweaks.
Ivana, wherever you are, we're watching the time, so...
Yes. I think we need to speed a bit because we have a lot of content left. The Apple short movie and Kenzo are done basically in a, let's say, in the same director, choreographer scheme, bringing new faces or exclusive faces, let's say niched faces, into the conversation of big brands. Kenzo is also about having a disruptive communication in a industry, in a category, in the beauty industry, where everything is so nice and everyone looks perfect, everything is so romantic. I think you know this ad because it's from 2016, but I will remind you about it. So it's with the girl that stands really nice at the table, she looks perfect, and then she starts dancing. It's a social event, and then she starts dancing like a crazy woman, going through that flower eye, and you see nowhere the perfume, but it's a perfume ad. Only at the end you are aware that this is about a product, a beauty product. It's Spike Jonze, it's...
Yeah. Ryan Heffington.
Yes, so also the music is original. She is actually the star in The Lost Ones. It's a HBO series, so it's a great collaboration also. We won't check this video. I'm sure you know it and you'll find it very easily on the internet. Okay, this one. Might seem weird a bit. We don't have a video for this, thank God. So basically, the collaboration that
They
no one...
laughed, yeah.
Yeah, well, it says they're
yeah.
porn, so it's hard not to laugh. Or blush or something. This is one of the Kanye West stunts. So basically, he didn't announce this anywhere, but people got to notice that Kanye West is the one directing the very first Pornhub Awards. What you need to see in this collaboration, because although I think that he's a very creative guy and he has very innovative ideas and he's always pushing the limits, you need to understand that being a taboo subject, he's not afraid to join the conversation, and this makes it all more, let's say,
normal and legit.
Yeah,
So
because
he normalizes
porn it's a very consumed product. We're only pretending that it's something that it should be hidden under the rug. No video, sorry.
But I do remember, one idea from yesterday. It was actually said by our colleague from Romania as well, Gabriela. And she said something very valuable. I think ideas can come from any person. So what he's trying to do, like going the extra mile and brands allowing him to be a creative director, even though he's not formally a professional in an agency or a marketing department, I think it also opens possibilities for new, I don't know, events and executions and so on. So don't be afraid to invite an artist to your creative table and make him the creative director of your brand launch. I think it can turn out to be very interesting and totally new.
And
Hopefully.
also, he's not afraid to get his face on this Pornhub Awards, thinking about the fact that he wants to be president. So,
Yeah.
take it on the other side also. Okay, this is one of my favorite, let's say, social media presences. It's LACMA. LACMA is a Los Angeles contemporary and modern art museum of contemporary art.
Whatever the
letter stands for. They have a very nice project mixing Hyundai, so mixing technology and art. But what I wanted to show you right here before we pass to the video is the way they are actually communicating on Snapchat. So basically they are taking pictures of the exhibits and placing these funny and, let's say, Gen Z type of expressions. I invite you all to follow them on Snapchat, on Instagram. They are really doing a great work on this. Well, I think we agree that was a bad hair day for a man. Okay, let's watch this. It's a bit long, but it's really interesting.
We're doing things that at first glance might appear impossible, inviting the artists to try things that they've never tried before.
The name Art and Technology comes from this historical project that's almost 50 years ago in the late 1960s, when some curators and artists got together and thought that it was a moment to think about art and technology. So if you think of art and technology, you might think, oh, this is it's a positive thing to the future. Really, it's a question. It's about open-ended future.
So that's the legacy of the original Art and Technology program that we've revived with this Art and Technology Lab. Right now we have an artist in Silicon Valley working alongside Hyundai's team there to look at technologies of the future. They're working with everything from robotics to sensors to neuroscientific research. In many cases, they have engineers from companies, including Hyundai, working alongside them to help them understand technology as a raw material for the creation of those new works of art.
We came to these two exhibitions, very, very different, that would be a wonderful beginning of the relationship. So this first project with Random International in the Rain Room is, I think it's probably the most obvious and clear expression of the question of digital technology and interactivity. On the other hand, this exhibition we're opening now of Diana Thader.
I work with the history of art simultaneously with contemporary technology and complex ideas about the relationship between nature and culture. everything is digital, all my work is digital. So I try to keep up with changes in technology and to keep my work so that you can show it.
And we
I think what is really interesting in this case is the fact that you would expect that Hyundai would promote his brand on roads, showing a car, showing how fast it speeds, it stops, and so on. But they actually borrowed their values to this art exhibition, and also they gained a lot of value by doing this mix.
I think we'll have to
I will let Roxana speak about some local successful
Can we have 5 more
campaigns.
minutes? Please.
Come on.
We were
sorry.
2 minutes.
Okay.
So, Romania did it also with local artists, with local problems, with local budgets. JMB actually was the leader of the mainstream whiskey category, but they were quite old. They wanted to appeal to younger audiences. They didn't have the money to do TV anymore. I will show the case because we don't have the time.
J&B had a big problem on the Romanian market. People drank whiskey only with cola, only in clubs, and only on the weekend. Naturally, the communication in the spirits category concentrated on this occasion, making the club super crowded as a channel. No more brand voice, no more market share to conquer. To make it worse, ATL advertising for spirits is heavily restricted in Romania. Just about no TV, no radio, no outdoor. J&B had to take it outside. We had to find a way to show people that J&B is not just about whiskey, cola, and weekend clubbing. It's about countless surprising blends, anytime, anywhere. Introducing Blending Spirits. To inspire masses, we teamed up with some of the biggest names in the Romanian mainstream music on one hand and the underground music on the other, and invited them to blend their opposite musical styles, to sing each other's biggest hit singles and create striking new blends.
Îți arăt că pot, îți arăt că pot, îți arăt că pot. Joci cu inima mea, prea multe nopți și prea multe zile, prea mult timp petrecut fără tine. Și gura mea să tacă și timpul meu să treacă. Am suportat destul, dar cineva să lase. Să vă dau dreptate.
I want to say a couple of things, and I'll just go to the second campaign. I saw the budget because I was leading the PR team, so it was very restricted. I know you saw some artists there, but the fees were not that big. They had the guts to invite to the creative table Vice. 80% of the consumers of JMB were reading tabloids, so it was definitely anti-media strategy. And Vice actually led the consumption of all this content. And the campaign turned out to be Grand Effie winner of 2017. So they basically reinvented how you do communication in the category, and why not mentioning that they won over Jack, which was actually leading in the whiskey category. So you can do things with artists and do them in a meaningful way. ICOS and Creator. I know you know ICOS. I know some people here launched it in Romania. I will just go very quick about that. ICOS is working in a very, very restricted category. They cannot advertise, only do some brand activations in Romania. Maybe the legislation here is different, I don't know. When they came to Romania, they said, they are actually a brand of Philip Morris, for those who don't know this. When they came to Romania, they said, we are progressive, and we want to team up with progressive people. Who are the progressive people of the society? Let's have some conversations with them. And we entered the arts and science and, I don't know, cooking world. We mapped some domains that were really having the top-notch conversations in the media and in social media. We teamed up with them, and we invented this physical space, Creator, which is still a hub where creatives meet and collaborate. So it's basically ongoing content for a brand that cannot create content in a very traditional way. And almost all their strategy is based on collaborations and creative collaborations with artists. And I will end with a project that is very dear to me. It's a Wake Festival. I know you guys have the Exit Festival here. The Awake Festival is very young. This year we had the second edition. It's a boutique festival in Romania. It aims to stay like that in terms of capacity, but it fights in the category of brand love and likability with big guys like Electric Castle and Untold and Never See. And we had a very limited budget, and we had a very unprepared, let's say, untraditional team to work the communication. And I know we don't have time anymore, but I'm sorry, I'm just looking at Ivana and I see her eyes.
Her hands around your neck.
What I would say is everything we did had to be original and creative and very efficient within the budget that we had. I think we did that. I will invite you to see the after movie, and why not joining us next year for our third edition. I will just show you 30 seconds clip of the theme of the festival.
You are the sun, you are the only one. Be my little rock and roll queen. Be my little rock and roll queen. Be my rock and roll queen.
First festival to launch its campaign via a TVC, even though it wasn't aired on TV, but it was aired on digital. And glad to say that the idea of the theme came from people that were not working in a creative agency or advertising agency. It came from a conversation of people who are very interested in what was hot right now in the industry. So you can watch it online. Key takeouts. Please invite more artists to the creative table and be courageous by giving them freedom to reinvent your narrative. Have as many conversations as you can with people, I don't know, scientists or social people or whatever. Startups. We learned so many things from people that are creating companies. Be curious, but most of all, we are, opening. You should open your world. We are paid, and I will wrap up, please. Yeah. We are paid to be creative and have an imagination, and opening our world really sometimes can push the figures. And if we want to convince people to buy a product, why not convince people to have the right conversation so that we create some a community or society that is healthier and maybe wealthier. And thank you, and sorry for taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.